it's just so overwhelming, right? It just feels like what was once an empty space in the mall has been filled by some, Mishie or Chagi or Hai Di Lao and all that, right? Because I'm just a tiny little Singaporean in this place that is meant to attract tourists from China, from India, from all over the world, and their dietary preferences are more important than my own as a Singaporean, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to eat that chicken bolognese dish
plant-based.
or plant-based mutton curry prata. Those are my only two options.
The plight. Now you can literally go to a country and you can have a very active social life without actually talking to people in person. Almost the incentive to integrate is lacking. So even when foreigners come and they don't integrate, can you really blame them also? To celebrate SG60, we're interviewing 60 Singaporean seniors over 60. And if you want to get involved, time is running out. So listen up. The project is called Words of Wisdom. And we are capturing stories of Singaporean seniors as national heirlooms to be preserved for future generations. And this is your final chance to nominate a loved one to be interviewed, because the remaining spots are disappearing fast. Your parent, grandparent, or that wise uncle could miss their place in history if you don't act now. And here's the best part. It's a heartfelt one-on-one interview done remotely. So no travel, just their life story recorded from home. This is their last chance to be heard. So nominate them right now at our website, folklore.com. And don't forget, the first interviews are already live and you can hear them at the same link. The link is in the show notes, so hurry because we are closing nominations very soon. And now, on to the podcast. What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Yala, your thrice weekly podcast where we talk about the hottest news with a touch of what, Terrence?
Good old humor.
Good old humor, man.
Yeah.
How was the weekend, Terrence?
It was good. It's but the weather is insane. Just vacillates between extreme climate change heat.
Yeah.
And Singapore tropical rain.
Sudden rain, right?
Yeah.
This morning I got caught in the rain.
Yeah, completely unexpected.
Yeah.
The Apple weather didn't help at all.
Oh, is it?
Told me it was it'd be nice and sunny all the way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, even when I left the house this morning for a walk with my wife and kid, normally you can see grey clouds or something. It was perfectly clear.
Yeah.
It was nice. Then we sat down somewhere. Then suddenly started a few drops and boom.
Yeah.
But there was a moment of bonding when all of us were under a shelter with other people who were stranded.
Oh, nice. Multiracial group.
Multiracial. True multiracial. Yeah, multiracial.
But I mean, I was also at various places, the zoo and everything over the weekend. Actually, Singapore's kind of not that crowded, all the places.
It's lovely.
Yeah, I think there really are a lot of people traveling. So the zoo, I expected it to be as crowded as that time when I saw Lee Hsien Loong there with Ho Ching.
Yeah.
But no, nothing near that at all.
Yeah, when you said you're going to the zoo over the weekend, I was like, oh my God. May the force be with you, Terrence.
Yeah. Caught by surprise, man.
So no need to wait for parking or anything?
No waits, no lines for anything.
Serious?
Very peaceful. Feels like what Singapore felt like maybe in the 90s when you go out, in December in the 90s, that kind of feel. Yeah.
I mean, do you have memories going out?
Yeah. You remember tells you how old I am, but I remember there was a Swenson's along Orchard Road, and if you wanted to eat ice cream, you could just walk in and go there and things like that.
Where was the Swenson's along Orchard Road?
I think if I'm not wrong, is where Paragon used to be. There was I think there was a hotel or something, and then there was a Swenson's right at the entrance. Yeah, so it was it was nice memories. And then very chill. Orchard Road's never that crowded.
Yeah, and I mean now also be it you're driving, taking public transport, walking about, it does feel like, hey, wow, this is nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Going to coffee shop also or cafe, no line.
Not as bad as before. Yeah.
And I mean, I think a few years ago, COVID aside, June normally everything is packed.
Yeah, that's my expectation for the June holidays.
Right.
But been proven wrong, man.
Everybody in JB, bro.
Yeah, a lot. I mean, apparently Causeway Jam was terrible. So, everyone's getting out of Singapore, but very few people are spending time
with the strong dollar.
Strong dollar, yeah.
The strong dollar.
Taking advantage of that, yeah.
Yeah.
But, that's the reality of life today in Singapore.
It is, man.
Yeah.
And I mean, this week, still going to be 3 episodes this week, next week, but the next couple of weeks going to be very interesting, Terrence.
Correct.
Why?
We actually will be, doing a lot of OT. In our jobs.
Yeah, correct.
Beyond just providing you all the three times a week entertainment that is the Yalabat podcast, we'll also be entertaining a very select group of people for 9 days, starting Friday, this Friday, right?
Thursday is the first show, Terrence.
Oh, sorry, Thursday.
Please show up at the first show.
Yes, Thursday. Yeah, Thursday and Friday, Saturday. No show on Sunday.
Yeah.
So we got 4 shows this week and 5 next week.
Yeah. On Saturday, there are 2 shows.
Yeah, so this is the Singapore's biggest comedy show's Happy Ever Laughter Party, right?
Yeah.
And we'll be performing there alongside who as well?
Yeah, so Muhammad Fazri, Jackie Ng, Prem John, Don Xiao. So, I mean, it's super cool because, I mean, we have done live shows of our own in the past, but those of more intimate crowds, as much as you say this is a select group, right? It's up to 1,000 people every night.
Oh, yeah, that's what I meant. Like exclusive.
9 shows, potentially 9,000 people, which is fucking cool. And we're going to be doing like a 6-minute set, and then another 6 minutes is a bit of a surprise.
Yeah.
But we're going to be on stage as Yalabat.
Correct. Yeah.
Not as Harish and Terrence individually, but as Yalabat, which is also super cool.
Yeah.
So what's even cooler is that for this opening show on 19th June, Thursday at 8 p.m., we're doing a giveaway for tickets. And all you have to do is there is a post on our Instagram account talking about the show, about the giveaway. All we need you to do is share it as a story and give us a reason in the story about why we should select you.
And definitely tag us as well.
Oh yeah, tag us.
Tag Yalabat.
Yeah, and I mean it can be the funniest, most edgy, most irreverent. You want to scold us also can, but it needs to be something that catches our attention and makes a good case for why you deserve the tickets.
Yeah, that's right. And that all will be in that same Instagram story.
Yeah, the mechanics. Yeah. So then we will select one as by today is Monday, by Wednesday latest.
Yeah.
And
you'll get a pair of tickets.
Yeah, you'll get a pair of tickets to the show on Thursday at 8 p.m. at Capitol Theatre.
Yep.
Sweet, man. And for those of you who already got tickets or want to buy tickets, we also have a link in the show notes to get 20% off the other shows for Cat 1, Cat 2.
Yeah.
So yeah, would be great to see you all there.
I mean, we've been spending a lot of time writing and just thinking of the ideas and everything.
Jumping on calls over the weekend.
Yeah, 6 minutes sounds short, but I mean, on stage, 6 minutes is quite an eternity. Right?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But it'll be fun. We tested it last week at the open mic.
Yeah, that's right.
So it'll be fun. And I mean, we get to do it 9 times.
9 times.
Which means if it's good, it's great. If it's not so good, it'll be 9 times.
It'll be a bit like Taylor Swift or Lady Gaga concerts. Every night is slightly different, you know. Maybe we'll throw in something to spice
Singapore
things
flag
up.
Or something.
Put a hat on some youngest person audience or something like that. Whatever.
Cool, man.
Cool.
So it'll be exciting. But in the meantime,
Yes.
if you're new to the podcast, do follow us on the social media that I mentioned just now, Instagram, but also TikTok and Reddit because it's popping. And follow us on YouTube and Spotify as well. Leave a review if you can. And if you want to work with us,
email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com or just check out ministryoffunny.com to see what awesome stuff we get up to.
Sweet.
But jumping to this first topic, touchy one, because, you know, this is talk for the town. I mean, we talk a lot about it in the sense of how our spaces seem to be getting overtaken by a lot of, foreign entities and all that, right? But now this is... a lot of people have reacted very negatively to this as well. And what is this piece of news?
It is a news delivered by Chee Hong Tat, who is now the new Minister for National Development and also the new chair of the Chinese Community Liaison Group, otherwise known as the CCLG. So basically, this group, from what I understand, oversees like all the Chinese clans associations or works together with the Singapore Federation of Chinese Clans Association, the SFCCA. So he had a meeting with them on last Friday, 13 June. And I mean, the biggest thing that was discussed or is being reported in the news is his thoughts on the integration of new immigrants and why that's a priority for the Chinese Community Liaison Group.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's not a new thing we've heard that, you know, we need to ensure integration and even the citizens of Singapore play a part. But I mean, just off the back, like Terrence, you know, as a Chinese person, like how often do you interact with the Chinese Clan Association or the association of your own clan, or do you even
Never.
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 Never
Not
at
even
all.
growing up.
Never. Nothing.
No, there's no rite of passage or indoctrination or something.
Nothing. I mean, it's like asking you like how often are you involved with stuff with like Sinda and everything lah,
Yeah.
other than contributing a little bit every month
Yeah.
in CPF and all that, right?
Yeah.
How involved are you?
I mean, I've thankfully gotten like some academic awards from them in the past, which was great, and some bursaries and all.
Yeah.
And I think, I pay every month. But that's about it also. lah.
Yeah, as in you're not proactively like volunteering or doing anything.
But has there been any touch points between you and the Chinese Clan Association before?
No, never. Yeah.
Not even an interaction.
Interaction, no, not officially. I've been to the Chinese Cultural Center. That's about
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
And we have watched a wrestling event at the...
Oh, yeah.
No, that's the Chinese Chamber of Commerce.
It's just because it's Chinese on the building doesn't mean it's necessarily related to that. But maybe it is. I don't know. Yeah.
So as a Chinese person born in Singapore and all, it's not part of your like experience at all like, growing up.
No, unfortunately. But at the same time, I'm also not representative of the entire Chinese population in Singapore also.
Yeah.
I think there are people who are much more tuned in to the Chinese culture here than I am.
Just to recap, the wrestling event was at the Singapore Federation of Chinese Clan Association in Toa Payoh. So that's our interaction with the Chinese clan.
But it was entirely in English though.
Yeah,
that
it was entirely in English.
So it doesn't really count.
Yeah, but basically at this event, he did say certain things like so basically I will quote, "We don't see integration as a reduction, but actually an enhancement, an enlargement and an addition to what we already have. Singaporean identity and culture are not static but evolving, and being able to absorb positive elements from new immigrants is a plus for society." So basically, he referenced Singapore's food scene in the past. When Chinese immigrants came to Singapore from largely the south of China and brought the cuisine with them. So things like Teochew fishball noodles, Cantonese wonton mee, and Hokkien mee. Now there are also additions, the Tao Xiao Mian, Biang Biang Mian, Shu Gan Mian, and all the different kinds of noodles from other parts of China. His point is that they don't take away from traditional foods like wonton mee or Hokkien prawn mee and fishball noodles because we continue to retain them, but now we have additional options that people can choose from.
Yeah.
So he thinks we should all see immigration and integration positively and that they don't dilute what we have. So, Terence, how do you feel with like let's say all your brethren and sisters from China coming in?
I mean, I kind of get where he's coming from in terms of like wanting the immigrants to, not necessarily assimilate into what we already have in Singapore, but to enhance it somewhat. I just do feel that the examples that he used, especially the one about food, especially at this time now when we're talking a lot about the loss of a lot of hawker culture that we have in Singapore, I do find it a little tone deaf, especially when he talks about the food aspect of things.
Like why?
Because, he says that we will not, he hopes that we will not, he says that, there have been additions to our food scene from China, right, of all these Chinese kind of noodles. And he asked, do they take away our traditional food, like wonton mee and all that?
Kinda.
Yeah, literally on this podcast, we talk about spaces like Wala Wala. Obviously, Wala Wala is not serving local hawker fare.
Yeah.
But spaces like Wala Wala closing down, and then the rush of a lot of businesses, large F&B businesses from China taking over these prime spots in malls and, very beloved spaces in Singapore, in the Singapore malls and all that, right? And you feel like there's a loss of something there when that happens. As much as, over the years, I've grown to enjoy mala and Hai Di Lao and everything by itself. But I think the speed and the scale, the proliferation of these Chinese chain restaurants and all is quite jarring for everyone, right? And then you're like, what happened to that, that old place I used to frequent and everything? It's just 1-2 years and it's not there anymore already, right? So I think that's what feels there's a bit of disconnect between what he's saying about does it take away our traditional food and us on the ground feeling like, hey, we are losing a lot of things that we used to treasure as our own culture.
Yeah. And also the example he gave, food in the past. Like, from what I understand, the immigrants from China came to Singapore when the food came in. Because we've also done episodes on, Tell You First about the Nanyang coffee.
Yes.
I love kopi, right? I absolutely love kopi. And that one, it came from abroad, right?
Yeah.
But in the 60s and, post-colonialism, Singapore wasn't as densely populated. And it almost felt like they were really bringing an addition because there were not many options available or less options than there are now, right? So and when they came in, I would imagine also that, and when you talk to your parents or people of older generations, how they did have friends from a lot more races, a lot more different groups. They speak different languages. They ate the different food because it really felt like much more communal, right? The kampong spirit and all. So to make that comparison, to me, that was the biggest thing that made him sound a bit like disconnected. Because now already we are losing kampong spirit. Like so many people, myself included, how well do we know our neighbors? Probably not as well as our parents knew their neighbors. So already in society, amongst Singaporeans, we are not as tightly weaved in. And then to kind of say that, this is like how it was last time, and it added to the food culture last time. Now it's going to add also. It's going to add, but like what you said, the speed is insane. I think even near our office, we have literally, not say our office, but I know previously when we spoke to even the hawker face the idea that, is mala stalls opening up in the hawker center necessarily a bad thing? And I think there is a case saying that it evolves with the times, You get Singaporean people starting mala stalls. Nothing wrong with that, but it's the speed and it's the chains that come in that is scary
And I mean, we did a Tell You First episode that I think is a very apt example of what we're talking about. We did a Tell You First episode about lo hei, right? Which is actually very few people know that actually the origins of it are really like Singaporean, or even maybe some say Malaysia, right? But I'm just going to assume that it's Singaporean, and it actually stemmed from Chinese immigrants back in the day. There were immigrants who ate a lot of raw fish. There was a dish of like raw fish that they ate, and the immigrants who moved here ate that. But the act of making it into the yusheng or the lo hei, as you call it, yusheng today, it was a very Singaporean thing that took decades. Over decades, that raw fish dish evolved, and they added things, and restaurateurs, the different chefs added little different things to it, and to the iteration that you see of what it is today, right? And today we do, yusheng or lo hei, even as a non-Chinese also, you can also partake in it during Chinese New Year. And we can see that as a very Singaporean thing, right? But its roots were, they were from China, and it was brought in by immigrants, right? But we put our own spin on it, and it had its own time to slowly, become part of our culture as well, right? And we all just accept that that's what every Singaporean does during Chinese New Year. But I think what we're seeing now is that, a lot of these restaurants or large chains, F&B chains from China are coming in, and they're bringing their dishes, their way of, doing things to Singapore, and it's just so overwhelming, right? It just feels like every what was once an empty space in the mall has been filled by some, mee-shie or chagi or hai di lao and all that, right? And people are just like, I think that's where the reaction is now. People are having to like, it was interesting at first, but now it's an onslaught.
And I mean, I would consider myself a lover of pan mian, right? And I think I know what tao xiao mian is. But what's biang biang mian?
Good question. I actually don't know myself.
What's shogan mian?
Shogan mian. Yeah. I also not 100% sure.
Yeah. And I mean, okay. So on one hand, we are kind of zeroing in on his example to food culture, but at the end of the day, he's talking about people coming in.
Correct. Yeah.
Do you think the same applies there?
So that's where I think, if you go online and see the Reddit discussions on this or what, people are talking a lot about, not just about food, right? But about language, for example, about how they've encountered people, especially PRCs, right? People from China, who don't seem to be integrated into Singapore society and they actually don't even know how to speak English very well. Or service staff that demand that you speak to them in Mandarin, right? And I mean, for me, it's not difficult because I do speak Mandarin. But for minorities, I think it's a real pain in the ass.
It's damn annoying.
But how often does it occur to you?
I mean, okay, so I would say maybe once every few weeks. Also, it depends on how often I'm eating out.
Yeah.
So if I'm eating out more often, even at coffee shops or food courts, it does happen. And sometimes it happens in a food court at a mall, which is got a lot of footfall. And I'm like, how is this possible?
Yeah.
I know way back on many episodes ago, we were arguing about the need for English proficiency tests for people coming to Singapore.
That was a Pritam's suggestion in 2023, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I still think there is merit to that, especially because, like right now, right, the problem when the onus is put on the citizens to want to integrate with the foreigners, it makes me feel like I'm a xenophobe or racist if I don't want to do it.
Yeah.
If I feel like, is it really on me? No lah, why? Then I feel like, hey, shit, am I a xenophobe? Am I a racist? Am I protectionist? And that is annoying.
Yeah.
Makes me even more annoyed.
Yeah.
When I have these thoughts, then I'm like, shit, am I right to even feel this because it is my duty? Is it my duty to integrate? So it's a bit tricky lah.
So you feel like you're being gaslit in some ways?
I wouldn't say gaslit, but already, I think the challenges facing people of our age in Singapore is very different from previous times. Every generation has its challenges. But when you already have so many things on your plate, then another thing you have to do is integrate.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, walao hey, chill lah. Like, how much you want us to do, yeah?
Correct. But Arish, that's just the reality of the world today, right? Singapore, we are price takers. We're not, we can't fix the prices or demand for certain things, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, to me, over the weekend, I went to the zoo, right?
Yeah.
I told you, right? And I did feel that quite acutely. I went to one of the food courts, the many food courts in the zoo. And I did want to eat I like to vary up the meat, the protein that I eat, right? So, I went to the zoo. Okay, it's halal, right? So there was no pork, right? Okay, it's fine. Then I looked around again and I realized, oh, wait, there's also no beef option. Because even the bolognese pasta is chicken bolognese only, right? And then I was like, okay, I don't want to get chicken. I want to vary it up. I want mutton. So I ordered the Indian, there was a mutton curry prata thing. And then the mutton was plant-based mutton. So that's why I when I went to the counter, I ordered my food and I came back and I just sort of resigned. I was just resigned to it that, because I'm just a tiny little Singaporean in this place that is meant to attract tourists from China, from India, from all over the world, and their dietary preferences are more important than my own as a Singaporean, right?
Yeah.
So I'm going to have to eat that chicken bolognese dish or plant-based mutton curry prata. Those are my only two options.
The plight.
So, but it's real, right? It's true when you start to think about cost effectiveness or who your target audience is and all that. If the Singaporean is not considered in there, we are such a small minority, like Singaporeans, right? Then we don't need to be catered to at all, and it just can be, as long as you cater to the largest groups of tourists and all that, then that's all it'll be. But it also means that you end up, you feel like, although there's more variety or types, but I felt quite limited in my choices.
Which is contrary to the exact thing Chee Hong Tat is saying.
Exactly,
right?
yeah, that's why.
It's not reductionist, it's an enhancement. But there is one thing about saying that, but in actual practice, you also can't expect the stalls to have one vegetarian option. I'm guessing they had a plant-based lamb because there are a lot of tourists from India who come who are vegetarian.
Yeah, correct.
Right. And a lot of Indian tourists also don't eat beef.
Yeah.
Indian locals also. But the sudden change makes you think that it's probably because of that. Right. So to expect the F&B providers to also have the whole array of options is very difficult. It's very unrealistic. Yeah. So when he compares this, and also another thing, he was kind of mentioning that it is our duty to integrate and all. The reason why I would imagine in the 60s and 70s there was more integration. Let's say my dad, right? He left India when he was 16 and his whole family uprooted and came here. The only way for him to communicate with whatever family he had back in India was like a very expensive phone call or writing letters.
Yeah.
So, of course, humans tend to be social by nature.
Yep.
You need to survive. You are forced to interact, right? Now, you can literally go to a country and you can have a very active social life without actually talking to people in person.
Yeah.
You can keep in touch with your family. You can read media from your previous home. And the almost the incentive to integrate is lacking. So even when foreigners come and they don't integrate, can you really blame them also?
Yeah.
Of course, I would like to think in the ideal world, you go to a country, it is your prerogative to want to integrate. But then human beings, you need to look at what is the push factor.
Correct.
Why is there a need to integrate? I've met foreigners who are based in Singapore, on maybe the more higher earning incomes, who have never been to places like Tampines. They're like, why should I go there?
Yeah.
I'm like, actually, why should you go to Tampines if you don't have anything to do, right?
Yeah.
To do that. So then it becomes like, what are the incentives? There's no incentive to integrate. then you make this kind of statement, then you're making me feel like I'm not doing my job.
Yeah, that's right. I think that's the problem, right? Like, we get what he's saying, and you don't want to be a xenophobe and anything. But I think also just some examples he used feels a bit like disconnected from the reality on the ground. And I mean, we do encounter, those foreigners who want to stay in their little bubbles, right? Whether they're expats or, not even expats, but other types of lower wage workers or anything. They do prefer to stay more comfortably in their bubbles, right?
Yeah.
But there are also those who do want to integrate, and then they try to assimilate with the local community a bit more.
Yeah.
I've been to NDP or NDP, those preview shows and all that, where I've seen, there are some people who are speaking slightly different accents and everything also.
Yeah.
And they're interested to find out more about Singapore
and
and
that's
all
great.
these things. And that's cool, right?
That's cool.
But there are also those who, Singapore is just, a stepping stone to other things.
Yeah, and before people say, it's only other people, I mean, Singaporeans typically, or at least our generation, have a reputation when they go study abroad.
Yeah.
They tend to cluster together right?
Yeah.
So it's human nature.
It's a natural thing, yeah.
It's human nature. So this kind of things, it feels like if you can say one thing, but you need to think about the realities. So that's why listening to this, I mean, of course, it was at a dinner with the Chinese clan leaders.
Yeah.
So it is not a space for debate or anything.
Yeah.
I wish this would be kind of discussed in Parliament, but Parliament's not sitting till September.
Yeah,
which is ridiculous. So I mean, there's only we can just take at face value what he said, but it feels a bit like.
But curious, just as a minority, right?
Yeah.
How do you feel? Okay, since we're talking about Chinese and all that, feel specifically about mala, right? The taste and textures and the types of food that the types of ingredients that go into mala and all that.
Yeah.
How does that jive with what you see as your Singaporean diet?
So I mean, I've never really dive deep into mala because I don't think that much spice right.
Yeah.
But just a few months ago, I went with my sister-in-law and my wife and a couple of other people to a mala place where you can choose like the non-spicy option, and I actually really like the mala flavor, the numbing and all that, and the idea that you can kind of pick and choose, which is like yong tau foo So I actually feel, and the one we went to was a chain started by a Singaporean.
Yeah. So
that one I feel like if taken in spurts, then it feels like it is organically becoming part of Singapore food culture. So I think that one I'm okay. When there's an influx of all these other things that I myself don't even have the chance to try, then it's becoming like, part of Singaporean cuisine. Then I'm like, how come? How did that happen? Then I feel like an outsider.
Yeah.
For you?
I mean, I was asking because, I do, previously, I used to think that, the Chinese taste buds and everything are so, are not that different from, Singaporean Chinese, other than maybe mala, just a bit more spicy or numbing and all that, right? But last year after visiting China, I realized that we are still very far from, what they actually eat in China and all. Yeah. So I mean, like, it's something very basic. Like, I remember going there and then they were like, they were asking me what I wanted to drink because I didn't want alcohol or something. I was at a dinner. And they all of them wanted to drink alcohol, but I didn't want to drink alcohol. So I said, can I have a Coke? And then how about juice instead of fruit juice, right? Or something like that. And I was like, yeah, sure, fruit juice. And it comes out there's this, they produce this corn juice for me. So it's like hot corn syrup, like a hot corn juice. So to them, that's what they call fruit juice. And it's like this refreshing drink that they drink.
You're probably like,
dinner.
Fuck this guy don't want to drink. Everybody want to drink. Let's just give him some shitty ass drink.
No, but that's really what they drink. So I was really shocked because I was like, wow, this is like the corn soup that I drink at Moss Burger, that kind of thing. But they're just drinking it as a thing and they refuse to give me my Coke.
And it wasn't fermented or something like that.
No, it's like a slightly sweet corn syrup kind of thing. So I realized there's actually still a lot of things that they have in China that we don't particularly we haven't tried in Singapore. So we're really only scratching the...
So you're saying there's a wave that is coming?
Bigger wave. We're scratching just the surface only.
Next time people won't be having bubble tea. The day you see them, hey, you got the corn juice or not? I need some Mr. Corn. Mr. Corn.
Mr. Corn. That's the next wave. Now, no one does Mr. Coconut anymore.
Yo, we should start Mr. Corn, man. Mr. Corn before the wave comes.
Juice. Corn juice, folks.
Oh my God.
But so we are, we're still only at the scratching the surface of what Chinese food and culture brings in, and I'm hoping maybe that there's a bit of time for adjustment of our taste buds, or at least adjustment of the like even mala and everything, like how they can tune it up and down a little bit for Singaporean taste. Then we create a slightly more unique Singaporean taste profile.
Now, what do you start seeing like McDonald's mala burger? Is there already?
I'm sure. I think in China there was, if I can't remember. I'm sure there will be at some point.
I mean, that one I still feel. I mean, okay lah, slowly.
There was. I remember correctly. It was a seasonal thing. Yeah, there was.
Seasonal thing. Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, again, this was set in the context of a meeting with the clan associations.
Yeah.
Because he said, certain things like new immigrants must be able to support themselves and have skills that allow them to drive Singapore's development. If they do, then Singaporeans should accept them with a positive and inclusive attitude. I guess it's language like that makes it on us that if we don't do then we're doing something wrong. Xenophobe.
That's right.
Tricky, this one tricky.
Tough one. But yeah, our next topic.
See the smile on your face, Darren.
Our next topic is something that I think you were trying very hard to avoid.
I wasn't okay. You see, no. You give your introduction first. I was not keen to avoid it.
There was last week we had a very interesting discussion, right? About this particular topic. I mean, I label it Handshake Gate. Whereas MP Gan Siow Huang, was skewered online for refusing to shake the hand of a lion dance performer who walked up to her, right? I think that was as of last Monday. And since then, at least until Friday, I had to endure a slew of really, really negative comments about me. I just
read some, is it?
Yeah, read some.
You save all the receipts.
I got the receipts. Never underestimate Terence's ability to defend the PAP. Pat on his head. Terence is obviously a PAP supporter after GE 2025. Eunuch's disease. Wow, truly a classic example for Ms. Gan's case. And Terence's ability to defend the PAP is second to none. The freaking mental gymnastics. So there was a lot of consternation. I think a lot of people were not very happy with what I was trying to say about the handshake thing. Right?
Which to recap was what?
Essentially that I tried to give her benefit of a doubt that she was really quite overwhelmed with everything. And that's why she missed shaking the hand of the guy in red. Which you can still see in the video. But last Friday, there were some developments that has triggered this additional further discussion that we're having now. And what happened last Friday?
It is that the cultural group themselves released their own video to show the reverse angle of Gan Siow Huang coming out of the taxi, coming out of the car, and keeping her phone in her pocket and kind of giving more context why she behaved that way. Then there was also the elderly man himself, Edward Leong. Oh no, Mr. Leong. So let's see, what's his name? Leong Chi Ling. So the 72-year-old member who was wearing the red t-shirt, who was did not get the handshake immediately from Gan Siow Huang. So to recap what I said on my podcast, because so let me put it out there. There was no point in time that I supported the comments towards you, Terence. And you have to agree that I never rubbed it in your face.
Okay. I mean, we took. I think we took. What do you call it? A bit of tongue-in-cheek approach to it, right? We ourselves said, "Hey, this one's my PAP dog thing." But I really was of the belief that, I wanted to give her a benefit of doubt,
So even on that podcast, I disagreed, I said, to me, watching it, whether she was overwhelmed or not, she missed the handshake and she shook someone else's hand first. Right? So to me, even objectively looking at it, I'm like, okay, that's not ideal. And I would trust that a minister, the smirk on your face.
Listening.
An MP who's been in parliament for quite a while should be more well accustomed to that.
Okay.
Right? So when this came out, there is this reverse footage and all. But I must say that the past few days, you've been beating your chest with pride and almost kind of expressing your anger towards the comments towards me. No, because I get the sense that you think I feel exactly the same way as them, that you are a PAP dog. And
No.
Yeah.
We already been through enough to know that.
That's right.
You and I, we whatever we say about each other is quite tongue-in-cheek and all.
Yeah,
that,
it is.
Right? Yeah,
So I mean, okay. So going back to this video, right? The thing is, yes, I appreciate there is another video, and I do feel that the way people were reacting, even you go on Reddit, it's fucking terrible when people, other Terrences out there who were trying to give her the benefit of the doubt, everyone got slammed. So that I don't agree with that.
Yeah.
But to me, this video, the thing that came out, even if I look at her behavior, like with all this context in mind, I still feel that it could have been done better. So it doesn't change my opinion of that.
Okay.
Yeah, and we can talk about why, but that's where I stand. Like, I think this one, it of course has reached a level that it feels unnecessary. The fact that we are dedicating a half of a second podcast to this.
It's not even that. The fact that they had to have a press conference about it, exclusively about this. It wasn't like press conference to announce something, then they got into it. They had a press conference where they invited journalists to come specifically about this. And we know this because you see in the photo or videos, literally in the background, the title of it is that, they are there to address the incident about the minister handshake incident.
Yeah. So I know you feel vindicated. Right? No, but I saw some comments saying, will Harish change his stance on it? So I also want to understand, what do people think my stance is? That I will change, because my stance of what she did is still not ideal.
But maybe it's worth going a little bit into the video, the reverse angle especially.
Yeah, the reverse angle.
And why maybe it should change the minds of some people. Although there will be some people who still refuse to change their mind, and they say that what do you call it? They say that the guy is basically being held hostage, right? To
I saw
say
that,
what he says, which is stupid, right?
Yeah.
But when you watch the reverse angle of the video, a couple of things stand out, right?
Yeah.
There's this point where she's carrying her handphone. She steps out of the vehicle. You can see that she's carrying a very big iPhone, I don't know, 16 Pro or whatever, big one, right? That she actually has to slip into her pocket, before she reaches out to shake her first hand, right?
Yeah.
And in that act of like putting something in her pocket and pulling it out, when you put something in your pocket and pull out, usually your hand a bit more exaggerated pull out, right? It goes vertically up, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I saw in that her hand, that's the reason why her hand went over the other guy's hand, right?
And that was blocked in the original video.
Yeah, you didn't see the original video, you didn't see the phone, so you didn't know that she was slipping a big phone into her pocket and then pulling her hand out like that. So that's one big detail to me.
Yeah.
The second big detail was being able to see that as she was doing the action of pulling her hand out, someone else, another man, was also already like speaking to her and extending his hand to shake her hand.
Yeah.
And her eyes were very clearly looking at him, right? But she did not, she did see the guy in red. She did have eye contact with him and smile at him. And then when she finally turned and actually shook his hand, she looked at him, right? So she did not ignore him or anything like that. It's just that his handshake came later. So to me, that was, it's very clear that there wasn't any ill intent on her part, right, of trying to skip him.
Yeah.
And I think if you watch the whole longer video as well that they put out there, after that she just goes around shaking, I don't know, like 40 people's hands or something. It doesn't matter what what skin color, what you're wearing, or what uniform or anything like that. She shakes everyone's hand. So any kind of fear that she doesn't want to shake someone's hand because of their rank or whatever is also nonsense, right? So I think those are the two things that stuck out to me. But for you, like what stuck out to you?
So to me, I mean, okay, it gives a lot more context.
Yeah.
And I mean, I can say for sure that when I said my stance in the last thing, right?
Yeah.
I don't think I said that she intentionally avoided. I'm just saying that for someone who should be very well versed with handshaking a lot of people's hands. To say you're overwhelmed as the first line of defense, right? I think was a bit weak. So in this case, if you ask me, like, okay, I'm sure, I don't know whether you've been in a situation where you want to shake someone's hand, but because there's someone more senior, the other person goes to shake that person's hand first and like skip me. Right? I can understand the rationale for it, but it never feels good. So I think like what I appreciate about the leaders and all the people that I respect is that when they see anyone who sticks out a hand, the CEO might be there, but if this person's here first, you shake the hand. So in this case, yes, there was a lot happening, but the fact that there was that jump, I still feel it is not ideal behavior. So
but I mean, that was the point. I think because I did raise that about the hierarchy of things as well. That's one possibility. But also that she missed it. she missed his hand.
Yeah. So miss. But when you make a mistake of missing something, to me it is still a mistake.
Oh, okay.
So I guess when people say to change my stance, what are they hoping I change my stance of? To me, it is still something that could have been handled better. And I know that's a very high standard expecting of the ministers, but I mean, people can hold them to those sort of standards because they hold other people to high standards, right? So I still think it is a mistake to just, someone more senior come shake their hand. This provides more context. But I still disagree with like the way people were kind of like projecting or like shitting on people who share a different opinion. Likewise, how now people are doing the flip and just saying, oh, this is totally like, wow, she's totally guilt-free and all. To me, she still could have done better. And I think one thing needs to be called out also. I know some people said, I was rage-baited. Right? Which I also think is not a fair statement, because to me, when I hear rage bait, correct me if I'm wrong, Terence, the definition is I get angry when I see everybody else getting angry. The thing is, you ask me if I look at a video objectively, I would still feel the same sentiment. And it wasn't just the masses. The mainstream media also reported it. It's not say you're picking it up on a Reddit thread and getting pissed off. Like, we talk about stuff in the news, right? And if it appears in mainstream media, I trust that, okay, there is it's not just hearsay lah. There's something there. So yeah, when I don't know, would you still say I was rage baited?
No lah, but I would say your press conference longer than the Chinese guys.
No, because, and I appreciate you letting me explain myself. Because that doesn't happen on Reddit. Right. And I think right now, as much as there were people shitting on the people initially, now you almost see, like, not to the extent, because now I think there is less of a case to just totally shit on Gan Siow Huang. But yeah, I was just addressing people who said change my stance. So this is why I'm curious. Like, for you, what on my stance should I change?
Okay, I will tell you lah. As long as you don't get super defensive about it lah, right? I think it's the general lack of lack of generosity in assessing someone's behavior lah, right? I mean, she literally said it herself, right? It was overwhelming. I watched the video and I thought, well, the lion dance is very overwhelming. 40 people. I mean, this subsequent video you can see is 40, 50 people. And she's just going around shaking everyone's hands, right? In that instance, you miss one hand or something, I think it's highly possible, right? But for you, it's still, you still got to hold her to a higher standard, and that's not good enough. And I think that's where maybe the lack of generosity in assessing someone's intentions, right? Or not even generosity, just giving someone benefit of a doubt, right? And I think the term rage baited, which I've also used, right, to describe. I think it's because it was so many people were ready to jump on it and go nuts on it. And I also just I read the comments. A lot of people just going all in on it, right, about me as a suck up and dog and everything, right? It's so easy to jump on that train, the number of likes and everything. But who is going to, when the video comes out and shows the angle, does anybody come back and retract their statements or anything? I mean, I sat there and waited, nobody, right? Nobody would say otherwise. So it is very easy to just be on the side of everyone who's like calling this person out and she should do better and all that. But, not thinking that, hey, if it was yourself in that situation, would it be fair for someone to have said that of you, right?
So that I agree. And I mean, I would also say, like, not just for me, because like that thing about holding them to high standards, I agree that some standards are unrealistic. So I will take that. Maybe also my expectations are a bit too unrealistic. So I can understand that, Terence. And I think generally when there is a call for more compassion, it is generally a good thing. So I appreciate that, Terence. I appreciate that. And I think, like, in this case, like, the thing is, like, to her credit, even which was stated in the article when it came out, is that she went to apologize to him. So to me, that is a good thing. Because this could have gone a very different direction, right? They could have taken it and kind of come out like they didn't do anything wrong. The fact is that she was proactively kind of just saying, okay, this was not ideal. Everything okay. I mean, that's a plus point. I think the only negative thing is the hate that was thrown towards people like yourself. And so for people like me, maybe we also need to be a bit more realistic.
Because I mean, at the end of the day, in the few limited interactions I have with people where I brought this topic up, right? when I mentioned that thing about, maybe she really was overwhelmed. People were like, say like, no lah, no way lah, blah, blah, you need to know better. There is always one or two people in the group that'll be like, actually, I also think I think it was just you give her benefit of a doubt lah. But those people don't dare to speak up until I said it first lah, right? Because anyway, I made it public and I'm okay to be called a PAP dog, whatever. But I realized, it's those situations where the silent majority, I don't know if it's majority, but there are those people who agree or they don't even see anything that bad with it, and they can't speak up because the vitriol directed against her and all is so bad already. Like even, my example is real, right? The comments are there. So when people are saying change the stance and all that, is to maybe open up space for different interpretations that don't make it feel like, no lah, must do better lah, that kind of immediate thing. Where it's immediate saying that no matter what her explanation is not good enough already lah,
But I think the thing about the stance, like I can agree in like social settings and all. I don't think at any point in time when you mentioned that I was like in your face, Terence, shut up lah, Terence.
No, of course not.
Yeah.
Of course
No,
not.
so
I guess, but people are just they wanna like we know, right? People, they listen to what they want to hear, and then they also they dig in on those things, and then there are even some very positive, overly positive comments where people said, Harish is the voice of the people and stuff, that kind of thing.
No,
right?
So the thing about the stance thing, right, which I will just push back a bit. I think unfortunately, when people listen to us, they put us in two different buckets.
Exactly.
And that I think is the problem, because that's why I was curious when they say change my stance, right? Like, can you tell me what you took away as my stance? Because if it is just you are like, there's just a blanket defending Gan Siow Huang and I am totally against her, I don't think that's fair lah. Because I don't think at any point I say, wow, she's an asshole for intentionally skipping. I just say by the looks of it, it doesn't look good. Right? So I think that is the thing about, like, it's not a binary stance lah. So I will totally agree that yes, maybe I need to be more compassionate when looking at the leaders like that. But I think when people comment like that, it does the same problem of applying one binary label to either of us. And I'm saying it's not fair to you. I don't think it's also fair to me.
No, your question, I answered lah, is the perceived lack of compassion, I guess.
So
that's the stance.
That was my stance. Okay, so then in that case, my stance, I'm saying like, yes, they can be more compassionate. I can be more compassionate.
Correct. That's all. I don't think we were even that far apart in how we viewed it. But people sort of they
pushed us to the extremes,
hear what you want to hear, right? And I'm a PAP dog, and that you're like
which I also think is ridiculous,
right? I think if anything, it was just I'm a bit more like, okay, shit happens, stage fright happens. It happens to me all the time. Even now, like we go on a show, sometimes I stun. I also forget what I'm supposed to say and things like that, right? Stage fright happens and all that. Whereas there are those who are like, no, you're paid, $1 million salaries and things like that. You have to do better, And that's where I think. Need to understand also, these people are human. And they will make these gaffes once in a while. And if it's not that serious, like, we should try to look at it with the benefit of the doubt.
And I hope even internally at the newsrooms of mainstream media, they're also having similar discussions. Because, again, like, there are times when things come out on Reddit, but we don't talk about it yet because we almost, like, to me, I'm like, okay, if it hasn't really appeared in other publications, if it's just a subreddit or a Reddit thread, I would rather not talk about it yet. But the thing is, we only talked about this because it appeared in the news. Right? So I think all round, even for the people like you who have been vindicated, there can be some compassion lah,
I got compassion. This is one thing to... I was just tolerating all those kind of comments.
I don't envy you lah, because some of the comments I read also, I'm like, come on lah, this is fucking not. In the past, I think like this one I felt like I didn't agree with the comments lah. In the past, I think maybe when we are even admittedly more polar opposite, that one different lah. But this one, I don't think we were that. We were just on different sides lah. On different sides.
So I think it's an exercise like that. I mean, the moment I think for anyone listening also, just thinking about when you see these kind of things, the moment you're getting offended on someone else's behalf, or you haven't heard from the source himself, which was this man in red, right? The moment you're getting offended on his behalf, or saying that she's we need to hold her to this higher standard and all that. Then we just need to take pause, right? And say who was really offended in this case. Did the guy get offended? Because a lot of people are jumping to conclusions without even knowing what the guy felt about it himself.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of glad that this press conference happened and all that, because I can finally go out there and demand my apology for everyone. I'm not as gracious as the people in COVID dorms who did not demand an apology. I'm going to demand an apology from all those people.
Did anyone message you directly?
No, nobody did. That's the thing, right?
No,
That's
as in before the video dropped, did anyone message you?
No.
No.
But okay, firstly, this is not that. It's not like I'm losing sleep over this. It's just one of those wow, finally, we got closure to this kind of silly incident, right? But yeah, it's just funny how everyone really jumped on the bandwagon, and there was literally footage on the opposite side that kind of debunked everything. So that was one interesting thing about this whole incident.
But okay, so even the debunking everything, it's just debunking that, again, going back to the thing, yes, she was overwhelmed. Could she have handled it better? I still think, I mean, in the perfect case, right?
Yeah.
But
so you want, that's the thing, it's a very, very high standard, almost perfect, right?
No,
almost
but the thing is, it's not say almost perfect. Even when you want to do good and you slip up, I mean, everyone aspires to be better, right? So in this case, it's just, to me, the sad part was how it really divided people. And this follow-up video also has divided even more people.
Yeah. I mean, even there are comments that she's a general, for fuck's sake. She should be eagle-eyed to be fully aware of the people in her surroundings. Things like that. Which make you feel is that expectation even realistic of anybody, general or sniper or whatever, right? It's unrealistic, right? But how do you feel about your title of mouthpiece of the people?
I hate that. I hate that kind of title, because then it's it's pitting us against each other also. And then also I'm not.
No, and the mouthpiece is not usually used in a positive connotation. It sounds like someone who just
populist.
says shit. Populist. Fucking populist.
Trump is also the mouthpiece of a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I mean, okay, but at the same time, the more people listen to us, the more criticisms are going to be leveled to us.
Yeah.
Right. So as much as we are criticizing people, or I'm criticizing people, people are going to criticize us.
Yeah, but I think this was super important because it kind of really demonstrates what Yalla Butt is about, right? News happens, we react to it so quickly. We have differing opinions.
Yeah,
everybody jumps on and
labels us,
as the mouthpieces of each side, right?
Yeah.
And then suddenly a video comes out that everyone oh shit, that was what happened, right? And it's and then now we're talking about the thing, right? And almost examining our own responses to it, So I think this is one of those amazing Yalla Butt moments that you can only get on a podcast, nowhere else. Yeah,
you're gonna have a good sleep tonight, Terence.
I had great sleep already over the weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Handshake gate, that was my thing.
Handshake gate. I could tell how much you were in the various WhatsApp groups we have. I saw you going off, man. I was like, okay, I'm sure we'll talk about this on Monday, .
Oh yeah. I noted your silence also, true.
No, because everything that I wanted to say just now, to me, doing it over WhatsApp would be a fucking nightmare. Right? I mean, your behavior also, I was like, Terence, just give it a break, Terence.
Hey, I'm entitled to at least
I know,
a weekend of it after taking a whole week of shit about it.
That's why I never say anything. That's why I never say. I was like, okay, Terence, you enjoy these few days. You enjoy these few days because Monday we will definitely talk about it, .
Yeah. But you see, it's such a stupid little thing that why are we even spending so much time talking about it? But that's the amazing thing, right?
But if you zoom out, it is the way people reacted, which is the bigger thing to examine.
Yeah.
It's a small thing, but the way people reacted, both you look at others, you look at yourself. There's a lot to be said, .
Yeah. That's why I really enjoyed this topic, .
I know you cannot stop smiling.
Because there's nothing, but it's very rare in life. There's a separate camera angle that shows you the truth about how something. Very rarely in life that kind of things happen. Whether quarreling with your wife or your girlfriend or anything like that. Very rare in life that you see another angle or something.
Yeah. But yeah.
That was cool. And what is your one Shiok comment of the last few days?
One Shiok comment. there was a comment on Reddit there from Rai Kota on our last episode about Jetstar and Holland Village. So basically, as a geriatric millennial who spent a lot of post-JC years at Holland Village, wow, this episode felt real special, especially when Harish mentioned this odd feeling he felt when he visited Hollandville. And then they shared, they visited Hollandville a couple of months ago. It felt weird. They didn't know how to describe the feeling. And then remembered times at Walla Walla. The fact that we talked about the decline of eyesight at the beginning of the episode, which I didn't even remember, but they pointed out that it tied in with the rest of the episode, a budget carrier of 20 years closing down in Singapore, Hollandville losing its mojo, and our eyesight is declining.
Yeah.
So that was a very, very poignant comment.
Yeah.
For you?
Mine on YouTube, Yada9108 says, this was in relation to what we're talking about, the closure of Walla Walla and other home-based F&B businesses, right? Supporting New Baru and the fellow local players is like supporting Yalabat. Everyone is independent and trying to make a name amongst the giants and westernized/overseas brands. Would you all prefer just another Uniqlo, McDonald's, Jollibee, Hot Pot Mala, dodgy massage and KTV parlors, or a space of heritage brands, local culture and flavor, like what Tokyo has to offer? So, I never thought about supporting New Baru that way. As in, it is pricey and everything, but it really is quite unique in terms of its...
as opposed to what could be in its place.
Correct, exactly. Yeah. But it's cool that the people also... that resonates with people.
Cool.
And what is your one Shiok comment?
One Shiok
thing, sorry.
My one Shiok thing is this super weird YouTube channel that I chanced upon. It's called Mr. Friend. And the tagline on YouTube is Your Nightmares Animated.
Yeah.
So basically you go there, right? You get episodes like, The Moon Woke Up. So it's basically 3 or 4 short videos about the moon waking up. So it shows the POV of an astronaut, and aboard the International Space Station or something, when suddenly they look out and the moon, suddenly a face develops and it wakes up. And it's done in a very surreal but still realistic way, and it just makes you feel like, oh shit, what if this is really happening? The visuals. And they got a few lots of videos. They have Megalodon attacks Pedalo riders.
Yeah.
So basically, the POV of you in a ship, then you see the Megalodon, and it's just very short clips. So it's very eerie that way. And I thought, oh shit, this is a pretty damn cool channel. It's all animated.
I see. And is AI involved as well?
I don't think AI.
No.
But the guy or girl has a Patreon channel.
Yeah.
Even if there's AI, I think there's enough originality here that this is the beauty of YouTube. People can just make a 20-second video and just play with a concept and just make you really go oh shit.
Yeah.
That's damn cool. There's another one of you on a cruise ship when you see this huge ass Norse Leviathan, which is the Nordic Godzilla, attack another ship.
Nordic Godzilla.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's cool. It's really your nightmares animated.
I see.
It's pretty damn cool.
Wow, that's cool.
What about you, man?
Speaking of nightmares animated, I think I also over the weekend finished the latest season 7 of Black Mirror. Took me a while. I know I had it as a one Shiok thing prior, but that was even before I even watched an episode. And after watching the whole season, I do feel like season 7 is really something quite unique in the sense that because they're actually stories that end on a positive note for the first time watching Black Mirror. So in Black Mirror you watch, you always feel like kind of shit at the end of it, right? But this one, there were a couple episodes that I felt like, oh, actually the ended on positive note. And that made me like, okay, I feel a bit better about technology and the impending doom of humankind and all that. So it is. I don't think it hasn't got the mainstream appeal that other more recent shows have got, and maybe people are getting sick of the Black Mirror formula. But now it seems like maybe they're tone wise, they're also going towards really deeper stories that might even end positively in some way.
There have actually been articles that are written about it. Like
Yeah.
The Verge has a Black Mirror season 7 tugs at your heartstrings while skewering tech.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it talks
yeah.
about how this slightly different
Correct,
take.
correct. Yeah, so it's not your usual Black Mirror lah. So that's what I surprisingly enjoyed about it.
But it's still good lah.
It's good. It's very good. Yeah.
Oh, I mean, like Black Mirror is one of the shows I really want to watch, but there's so much inertia to watch.
Because it's very sad. At the end.
It's always damn sad.
But this season, that's why I was like pleasantly surprised that it was.
And I mean,
like that.
you can almost understand why, right? Like now, there's so much mental health issues and all that. And I remember Shonda Rhimes last time said that what she writes, right, is meant to be an escape from reality.
Correct.
So when she came up with Scandal, it was during the Obama presidency when she said generally everybody was positive about it.
Yeah.
Now we know that everybody is just the Democrats. Yeah. But she made a show about the darker side of presidency. Now for the presidency, her latest show, The Residency, it's a kind of like a murder mystery, slightly lighthearted of a murder at the White House.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
So, I mean, wow, this Black Mirror, that's interesting.
Surprising.
Wow, you just power through one weekend.
Yeah, it's good lah. This season is great. Yeah,
solid, cool, man.
Cool.
All right. So hopefully, I mean, the end of this week we will see some people in the audience.
Yeah, and the giveaway that's happening
on Instagram right now.
Yeah.
And so just follow us on social media: Instagram, TikTok, Reddit, where we have discussions and we share other content. And if you want to work with us,
email us at contact@ministryoffunny.com or just check out ministryoffunny.com.
Sweet. All right. Thanks, everyone, and we'll talk to y'all soon.